Hello everyone, how are you all? Another day, another show. Uh, yeah, today is going to be a little chat about what happened in China, the Asian Games. There was a fairy tale when we were growing up. In fact, it's still there. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And the most beautiful part about that fairy tale was the stepmom who looked into the mirror and kept asking the mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the most beautiful of them all? And the mirror said, you. And the current Asian Games celebrations, in my view, are pretty much like that. I think, apart from the athletes, some of the corporates, some bureaucrats, and administrators are actually celebrating more than the athletes. Uh, Nothing away from the athletes. I think they've done a fantastic job. But it's always nice to put things in context. Uh, we've been following Asian Games for a while now. I've been following it. Let me put it in context. Okay. In this Asian Games, China won 201 gold medals. How many? 201 gold medals. Followed by Japan, which was 52, Korea, which was 48, and India about 28 or 30. 201. Why am I saying this? So I have a theory, and I'm going to speak about my theory today. Okay, my theory is that how do you define a superpower? A superpower is basically defined by 3 or 4 key parameters. One is your economic wealth. 2 is your military power, which is your arms and whatever, your military power. And according to me, the third one, which I think is a very critical one and which is not acknowledged enough, is how do the superpowers perform in Olympics? I think the top 7 countries in the world are the top 7 medal performers in Olympics. And I'll give you an example. If you look at the last Olympics that happened in Tokyo, China had 38 golds, US had 36, Japan had 27, Russia had 20, Great Britain had 20, Australia had 17, and Germany had 10. I think one of the big indicators of a superpower is the prosperity of those countries in the sporting area, because sports is a culture in those countries. Sports is not it's not a pastime. It's a very serious thing. Families, friends have weekend breaks with sports, and I've seen this happen so often, especially in Australia, in Denmark, in US. They go for a baseball break. They go for a hockey break. They go for a fencing break. They don't go for a holiday to someone's home. They actually go for a holiday to play a sporting event. Sports in these countries is an extremely organized machinery, which is why they're able to produce that many winners. Imagine 200 gold medals in the Asian Games for China. And we are celebrating that we crossed 100. All put together. And we can't keep crying wolf. They also have come up off late. Till about 20 years back, US used to be the power center of all the sports. In the last Tokyo Olympics, China won more golds than US. China won 38, US won 37. Germany, Japan, these are countries that have been ravaged by the World War II. They broke down, they were burned down. They rebuilt and they've come back. Unless sports is part of your core being, you cannot succeed. You cannot be a superpower. It is not possible. Today, what happened in Asian Games is a huge compliment to Indians. But this compliment is centered not around the state. It is centered around the people. All the badminton golds are from academies that are run by Gopi Chand and people like that who've invested their life savings into it. All the shooting comes from Gagan Narang's academy or a couple of other shooters who've opened their academies. Uh, Athletics comes from Kerala, South, where there are schools, institutes that are run by private people, where these people come, where these athletes come from. What is the state doing? The state is doing nothing. Uh, the state makes ads 15 days before the event uh, and hogs the limelight, completely hogs the limelight. There is no commitment, there is no long term plan, there is no strategy, nothing. Because sports is not part of their core agenda. If sports needs to be part of your core agenda, then the way you think, the people who manage it, the people who run it are very, very different. Uh, this year in Asian Games, we had cricket. They played T20. Take it from me in writing. 8 years from now, China will win the gold. Because China has realized that cricket is a sport and they don't play cricket in China. Cricket is a sport that is a medal event. They will create the infrastructure, they'll buy in people, they'll train youngsters, and in 8 years, China will be playing the finals of T20 in some Asian Games. This happened to us in hockey. It's off late that hockey's come back into its past glory. We were struggling with hockey for the last 20 years, 25 years. We have a fabulous team now, but we have a imported coach. My question is, and it is a very fundamental question to every Indian. If you want to be a superpower, don't count your status by your economic achievement. Count your status by your sporting achievements or intellectual achievements. How many people from India have been nobles? Hardly anyone. Most of them come from these superpower countries because they invest in education, they invest in research, they invest in technology, they have government funding. They are huge. I think India needs to recalibrate itself for the next generation. The way India was run till now was run on maintenance. I think India needs to be in the top 5 or top 8 countries in the Olympics. I'm not saying it will happen overnight, but you need to have a plan. I think we have the LA Olympics next, which is in 2028, and then in 2032 we have the Brisbane Olympics. Now the Brisbane Olympics are going to be big, and they're going to be fantastic, and it's now 10 years from now, 8 years from now. I think, if you ask me as a marketing guy, India needs to have a vision of 32 golds at the 32 Olympics, Brisbane Olympics. Even if you can't get 32 golds, at least try and get 32 medals, but have a vision. Identify your sports, identify your events, train people, pump in money. 2032, there's going to be no Neeraj Chopra for you to get that gold. There are going to be no boxers. There's going to be a fresh lot then. There are going to be no wrestlers. There's going to be a fresh lot then. Invest money heavily into athletics. Invest money heavily into gymnastics, because the big sports, that is where a lot of medals come from, get in huge amount of infrastructure. In fact, if you ask my personal suggestion, I think next 3 years, India must not spend money on buying defense equipment. We don't need any more of it. We have enough of it. We need to do maintenance there, to find maintenance contracts, but get defense money in. We spend serious amount of money on defense. I think that needs to be stopped, and put that money into sports. Let every youngster go back to school. Let every youngster have a playground. Make it mandatory that every school in this country has a playground. If they don't have a playground, then get them to get a playground. The school I grew up in Secunderabad, I went there a couple of months back, and we had a cricket field. We had a beautiful cricket field. We used to play on that. I won't take the name of the school because there will be a backlash. But now they have a building there. They built a school complex because they want to put classrooms there. That is so wrong. That is absolutely so wrong. Why would you want so many kids in a school? It's not a poultry farm, it's a school. What's the point of building all these classrooms and putting 70 kids in it? And it's a complete mess. And you've removed a cricket field to build a school structure. Nizam College, which is our favorite college, which is where all the sportsmen are pretty much come out of. They're building a girls' hostel there on a play field or a boys' hostel. I don't know, some hostel is being built over there. How do you take away open grounds where kids play, where things happen? So I'm saying, have a vision for 32 Olympics, Brisbane Olympics in Australia. 32 is not a big number. Identify your 32 events. Have a plan in place. Have a task force in place. And let India have a great showing in the 2032 Olympics. You do well in Olympics, you'll do extremely well in Asian Games. At least you go somewhere close to China. I know, media keeps talking about how big we are and how big China is. China's economy is 10 times ours. China's medal wins at any sporting events are 10 times ours. I don't think so we should compete. I think we should get there. We should be on par with them. When I used to see this advertising on television of this Isbar, Saupar, it used to irritate me because it is such a wrong piece of communication. You come in 2 weeks before an event, you create an advertising line and you make a noise about it. It's wrong. I think the focus should move away from all this and should get back into sports, should get back into athletics, should get back into field and physical events that are there at these events, and put money there, put lots of money there, invest over there, get people, get trainers, bring India on the top 7, 8 countries in the Olympics, let India be in the top 3 in the Asian Games, and then do your campaigning. There's no point doing campaigning with no content. It's not correct. And most of these 100 that you won this time have come because somebody has put in the hard work. It's not the state. It's not the government. There are individual academies who are producing these absolutely brilliant kids. I think the state should take over. The state should take over and have a plan, have a vision. I think 2024 elections are coming. They are around the corner. I think one of the big things that all of us as voters should do is see which parties are promising us sports infrastructure for our kids for 2032 Olympics. If it's not part of their manifesto, we should not vote for them. I mean, I'm okay with giving away free food, free this, free that. All that is fine, good for you all. But I personally believe that if a country has to be healthy, if a country has to be fit, if a country has to be prosperous, I think at the core of the country's DNA should be sports. And it could be any sport. I have nothing against any sport. Any sport that works for you. Have a target, have a mission, and go about achieving it. Get money from wherever you can. Stop wasteful expenditure. Put all their money into sports. And have a plan in place. 2032 should be our vision for 32 medals. Let's get there. And that's my bit for today. I just found this whole Asian Games campaigning quite irritating. So this is my response to that campaigning. And I hope you like the show. And I hope you buy into my logic. And if you buy into my logic, when you cast your vote in 24, ensure that in the manifesto of the party you're casting your vote for has a whole vision for sports, which is what this country needs. Thank you. Have a lovely evening. Good day. And catch you soon. Bye.